This is LTV.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolisinsuranceagency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank, create success, enterprisebanking.com.
There you are. Good afternoon. My name is Dean Mazzarola, and the name of the show is Inside Leominster. And we meet here at 4 o'clock on Thursdays. It's kind of our time, and bring up the speed on things that are happening in and around the city. If there's ever a suggestion, somebody that you'd like to see me sort of interview, someone you'd like to see interviewed, be a guest, etc., please let us know. In the meantime, we're going to go right to the one, the only Art from the Art Report.
Thank God there's only one of us.
You don't think there's another Art?
Yeah, my dad was an Art, yeah.
Well, there you go. See, there's got to be another. There'll never be another one like you, if that's what you mean.
You can say that again. I'll tell you one thing, the mild weather we've been having this year, the potholes are down. That's a good thing, I think. And things are looking good. It's easier for the cleanup, for the sanding, etc.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we use less sand anyway, where you have that spray you put down prior to the storm and it helps.
Right. We haven't been using much sand at all to last, I don't know how many years. It's just a mess. It's just cleaning it up, and then you can't just put it anywhere anymore. It has to be disposed of, and there's an expense. There's an expense to that. So, Hey, Frankie Valli playing. Boy, he's all over the place. He's playing March 23rd in Boston.
Yeah, he's been catching some heat on Facebook.
Why is that?
Some of the stuff he's done, according to Facebook, I don't know one way or the other. But he was lip syncing some of the stuff he was doing.
Well, I mean,
but others have been accused of that as well.
He's an entertainer. He's, you know what? I mean, I think people go to see him and to listen to his music. So I think if
you're 100% correct.
If he's like, if Frank Sinatra was to appear, remember in the last concerts he was forgetting some of the words and all that. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. They said, you know what?
No.
It was just a treasure and a pleasure to be there, to see him and to hear him sing. And if he forgot some of the words, so what? So,
I think people get carried away with that stuff. I know one of the highlights of my going to shows was on 2 different occasions at Foxwoods. Dick Fox, who's a music producer, had a show called The Boy, and they're still touring, the Golden Boys, a bandstand, and it was Bobby Rydell, Frankie Avalon, and Fabian. And they would come out and do all their songs. Well, during the show, Fabian, when he would do one of his Tiger, he'd invite anybody up on stage that wanted to dance. I love to dance, so I went up and danced. And I had a good time. In fact, I was towards the back of the stage. He stopped the band. I was the only guy up there with the girls. He made me come to the front, and it was fun. It was fun, and those are the kind of things sometimes that people say, well, they can't sing. Well, you know, I don't care.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. They put on a heck of a show. They told stories. Rydell could tour it. He just passed away a year or so ago.
Right.
But
yeah, I noticed that sometimes Frankie Valli's holding the microphone down here.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I wouldn't care. I think I think people are going to show up, and when he appears in Boston, let's see, let me just update this for a minute, Art, because some people were waiting for National Grid. Currently, National Grid says there's 100 people in Leominster without power, and bottom line is all the power is estimated to be restored by 8 p.m. The outages are in 3 areas of all the National Grid crews assigned to them as of 4 p.m. The 3 areas are Leggett Hill Road, Lakeshore Drive, and Day Street. The majority of customers seem to be on Leggett Hill Road. That's about 80 customers. So we're staying in touch with National Grid. So last night, in its peak, 6,300 people were out. And some of them, it wasn't long. They switched them right back over because they can isolate areas, and then many times it's a fuse that blows. If you ever see them out there with that long pole, that's them, and they just kind of push the fuse
that
up.
happened across from me one year, yes.
Yeah, so they get this long
and that
pole.
happened at Johnny Appleseed when I was there. In fact, it caught on fire, the pole on the top.
Right.
And when I was across the guy, and a woman pulled over and she said, "You better move." I said, "Why, what's wrong?" She says, "Your pole's on fire." I looked up and it was, and she had called the fire department. And when they got there, the fireman told me, he said, "Get back, get back, get back." And I was getting ready to cross some people, so we all got back. And I'll be darned if the fuse didn't blow off the top of it and come flying down.
Right.
And he called me over after when it cooled off, and he said, "Pick that up. You want to see how heavy it is. If that had hit you, you'd be in trouble."
Yep.
So he was right. He was right on the money. But other than that, the weather's starting to turn. Things are looking good.
Yeah.
And to the NASCAR fans out there that know that I was involved heavily in auto racing for a long time, NASCAR went over the top with the "you got to be kidding me" inspection when they confiscated and fined Joey Logano for a disapproved glove that he wore racing. Are you kidding me?
A glove.
Well, there's an old trick. You know, in racing, they have rules that are, you can stretch the rules. And sometimes, I know this for a fact, sometimes teams will purposely get caught to have them look at that particular point of the automobile rather than the other part, which is where they're cheating a little bit. But he had webbing between the fingers of his glove, and they had a picture. He had a camera car, so that you could see him in the car. He had his arm rested up against the top of where this door would normally be, and they said he was using that glove for an aerodynamic advantage. Really? Do you ever try to stick your hand out the window when you're going 60 miles an hour? It almost ends up in the back seat. He's doing 180.
Wow.
I don't think so.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that was, come on. And they fined him $10,000.
Wow.
That's a nickel to him, but that ain't the point.
Right.
And I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. The late Ron Bouchard, who was a dear friend of mine, we were at the races, and this guy come up to him and says, Ronnie, I'm nervous. They're checking for this particular part of a car. And he says, I don't want them looking in that area. He says, take a mechanic's rag and just cover it like you've been working on it. The guy goes over, he throws a rag on it, they come over. Ronnie was right, and they never looked because the rag was covering it, so they went on their way. It's all diversion, and, I don't know. Rules are rules.
Yeah.
I'm all for rules.
Me too.
But the webbing on a glove at 180 miles an hour is going to make the car stick better in the corners at 165, 170?
I don't know. Maybe there's some rule.
I don't think
I'll have
so.
to Google it tonight and see what they're talking about.
I don't think so. Having said that, the wind's picking up again. Have a good day.
It's like a freight train last night, and it never stopped. I
never heard it.
I
never
thought,
heard
wow.
it. I was shocked.
I thought
It
around
wasn't-
4 o'clock, I thought it was going to die down, just for a couple seconds. But it was all night.
I never heard it.
Oh,
Imagine that. I expected to see some stuff in my yard today. It's clean. Evidently, the wind blew it clean. I got a lot of pine cones, but I don't have a pine tree.
Right.
So go figure that one out.
Yeah. All right,
Okay,
Art.
my friend.
Be well. Take care. We'll talk to you soon. All right, about 45 minutes left here at Inside Leominster. Our phone number is 978-534-1626. And just to remind you that tomorrow's Friday, and they have Lenten dinners, fish dinners, over at St. Anna's in the church hall. And they're going to do that until March 22nd. And it's $13, and boy, they give you more food than you can absorb, consume in one day. Baked haddock, coleslaw, potato, vegetable, mac and cheese, pasta with marinara sauce, dessert, beverage. And then if you don't want the fish, it's like, I don't know, $6 for everything else. Bowl of chowder is $70, and wine is $4 a glass. They also have takeout. March 16th, yes, March 16th is the day for the next hazardous Leominster Household Hazardous Waste Collection Day. Put it on your calendar. You can go to leominster-ma.gov, find out everything you need to know about what they'll take and what they won't. And this is always takes place. We don't require registration, and proof of residency is required. And let's see, questions at 962-3558. That's 978-962-3558. 109 Graham Street is where the event is held. If you go into the public library tomorrow and you get your February calendar, isn't going to work, but the March calendar. So it is a leap year, huh? So the March calendar is tween book boxes registration. That's tomorrow. And then drop-in magnets, keychains at 2:30. And don't forget, our public library is open on Sundays, 1 to 5. Caller, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dino.
Hey, it's Crystal.
How are you?
I'm good today. We're busy. It's been busy. So busy. But we're trying to get all the thank you cards out for everybody that donated, whether they donated $5 or $50,000 or whatever, anything in between. So I thought it was important to get a card out, a thank you card, handwritten, thanking everybody for their donation. Well, I've still got 2 boxes to sign. So
don't forget about Mark.
a little at a time. I'm getting there. I thought I had them all done the 2 days before Christmas. And then apparently they were not, not all of them were signed, so I'm working on them. So in between.
Don't forget about Mark.
No, Mark's my man down at Hannaford.
Yeah. I'll tell you to say hello tomorrow.
Please do.
Take care.
All right. Okay, so let's, we're going to take a short break and then we're going to come back. We have a guest this afternoon, Amanda Curtis for our Economic Development Department. And we'll fill you in on everything that's happening. Things that nobody else knows. This is like top secret. You're going to find out today. These top secret projects that we're working on. But we'll be right back at Inside Leominster.
So here we have another sugar maple. This one's probably like 10 or so years old. Not very large, obviously. But we got some lower branches here, so we can check out the winter buds. So firstly, as with any maples, sugar maple is going to be opposite branching. And what we mean by that is that as the branches grow out and split off from one another, they're going to grow directly opposite one another on the main branch, as opposed to alternate branching, which is when branches grow from one side and then you see another one further down on the other side and on the other side. All maples are going to be opposite branching, such as this. So you need to look at the branches, more specifically like the smaller branches and some of the leaves, when they have the leaves out, are going to be coming out opposite one another on the branch. So when we take a look at the winter buds here, these are the leaf buds, or where the leaves are going to be erupting from in the springtime when they leaf out. And with sugar maple, they have these very small scaly leaf buds made up of interlocking scales. They almost look like tiny little roof shingles. And the entire bud itself is pretty small, kind of a reddish brownish color usually, to like a dark brown color sometimes. And they come to a sharp point as opposed to some other maple species. I like to think of sugar maple leaf buds as kind of like little Hershey Kisses. So we have, that sugar maple and the sweet connotation, just to kind of help us remember the leaf buds there. Kind of pointy, like little Hershey Kisses.
There you go. And Nick had close to 60 people on that Nick Walk. I guess there was a pretty big crowd. And maple syrup season already. They've started to tap the trees. They started like really early this year. Usually it's not until March, or at least late. They've been tapping trees now for since the beginning of the month, I guess because of the warm temperatures. And what's it take? What's the ratio? It's for every 5 gallons, they boil it down and get 1 gallon. Is that what it is? 5 to 1? But it's strange, but I can't eat. For some reason, I can't consume maple syrup, like the real stuff. The other stuff that you get, I can get the stuff that's got there's no maple syrup in it. It's all sugar and Karo syrup. But the other stuff bothers me. I don't know why. It's the strangest thing. Anyway, speaking of strange things, we're back here at Inside Leominster, 978-534-1626. And yes, maple, see, that is why we live in New England. I don't see anybody sending back pictures from Florida or anywhere else in the world saying, oh, guess what? It's such and such a season. I don't. Here, every 2 minutes so it's like 19 days or 15 days till spring. We're counting down the days to turn the clock ahead. Fall back, spring ahead, right? So be spring ahead. So we're going to push the clock 1 hour ahead, and then instead of at 5:30 at night it gets dark, it'll be 6:30, and it's going to feel good. It's going to feel good. Amanda Curtis is my guest, and she's an economic developer for the city of Leominster. And good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
These are the things you get excited about.
Yes.
I can't imagine being in Florida and getting excited about the lead up till the Christmas parade in Florida. It's going to be 90. Caller, welcome to the show. Hello.
Hello. I just want to know, this is Barbara. I just want to know what's going on down by the park.
Perfect question. You want to hang up and I'll answer it?
Yeah.
Okay. Good question. Everybody, we've posted it a lot of times. There's been articles in the newspaper, but we get every day new people. So it gives us a chance to talk about it. So we got a grant to do some work in the park. Problem number one is electricity. Well, not in this order, not in priority. Every time we have an event there, we blow fuses, and we got extension cords all over the place, and we got to bring in generators, and we got to call Joe Pori to come down in the middle of an event on a Saturday or Sunday or whatever night it might be to reset it all. So all new electricity, everything underground, all utilities will be underground. We'll have we have fairly new ornamental lights. We'll be adding 18 trees. We had to take down what was diseased. Mm-hmm. And if we didn't take them down, we would have had to fence off the areas below them, like a fall zone, because they were diseased, and the arborist said, well, you can't let people stand under that. If the thing falls, then it's going to hurt somebody, so you got to fence it off. So why would you do that? The other problem, and this is probably one of the biggest things, there was a granite border. And whenever we had an event, guilty as charged, I did it myself, I'd be on the lawn part, and I'd be talking to someone. Then I turn around and walk away, and little did I know there's a 6-7 inch drop onto the concrete, and people would go flying.
Yeah.
And I went myself. I took a few loops, but I caught myself. But other people had gotten hurt. So now the grass and instead of concrete, it'll be brick pavers.
Yeah.
And it'll be smooth, which means when we go to put the ice rink down there in the winter, if we ever get cold enough temperatures, we don't have to build it all up again, and it's a lot of work for the DPW. Plus, I think the other exciting thing, and one of my favorite things, is we're going to restore all those monuments that go back to World War I and II, and there's some history in that park, and that'll get taken care of. So 18 new trees, and plantings, and underground irrigation, and Wi-Fi for for events, and we can pop our phone up, get some speakers, and bang, you've got music going. So that's what's going on, Barbara. Very good question. Very, very good question. Anyway, any questions for either Amanda or myself? 978-534-1626. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What's going on?
Nothing. There's nothing happening around the
Did
city
you go on the
whatsoever.
neck walk?
No.
I didn't, but I wanted to. But there's just too much going on. Like when I leave here tonight, I got 3 places I got to be at between 5:30 and 7.
Oh my God.
15. So
No.
I wanted to get to the walk.
I know, and I share the office with him. So if you think that you feel guilty, I feel even worse.
Yeah, but 60 other people showed up. So
I can't
it was
believe
nice.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good walk. I've
It
been
is.
on 1 or 2, and they've been all. He knows a lot about being out in the woods and what all those things mean. Although I had a good science teacher, a couple good science teachers, John Gallagher and some others that taught us, took us in the woods and showed us what you can eat and little spearmint things gum tasting things and what you could eat, what you couldn't, what was let's see, what was on the endangered species. Like, what I have not seen in the last couple of years? Grasshoppers, and what's the other things, those big things? What are those giant, they look like dinosaurs. They're just, what are they? Not sewing needles. I'm trying to think of what they are. And they were supposed to be endangered. You weren't supposed to, they were bigger than a grasshopper.
Oh.
Praying mantis, yeah.
Yeah, praying mantis, yeah.
Are those still, Jane? Are
Yeah, oh yeah.
But are they still,
I don't want to tell you what the female does to the male. She knows.
I sure do. It's not good. It's not good for him.
it's a family show?
It doesn't end well.
It does not.
Ooh, yikes. Sounds like the honeymooners or something. So, praying mantis, I don't see them around. So are they still extinct? Are they sort of still a protected species?
Well, they camouflage themselves.
Yeah, but
pretty
I used
well,
to see one once in a while, occasionally.
Well, now you have to be on the hunt.
Well, I'm a male. I don't know if I want to be. I'm not sure what's going to happen here. Yikes. Anyway,
Yeah.
where do you want to start?
Yeah, so I think
We have a meeting coming up.
we do for our downtown businesses.
Yes.
That's been a really great, consistent group that we've been doing for 2.5 years now. So Enterprise Bank always has been hosting us the last, I'm going to say 6 to 8 months, probably. Could be longer. But we have 10 to 15 business owners that join us, and it's a great resource for people to network and to get to learn what is happening around the city. They have you as a captive audience, so they can ask you all kinds of questions, but they also get to learn about all the things happening around the city, so that when they have questions about why is this happening to the business next door to me, or what's happening with their glass, or what's happening with their storefront.
I think most understand why we put an emphasis on the downtown. First, downtown, literally, if you took a map and dropped, the compass and said, this is the center of the city, literally is the center of the city for everyone. So it's not just, in Newton, say they have a bunch of different sections, Newtonville, and it's so many sections of the city, and we do too. But there is no central like downtown in some places.
No.
So we are literally, you got to crisscross. Unless you take the highway, you literally have to crisscross to get through the city. So I remember being in Pittsfield, which is got a really cool downtown. It's big. It's big, Pittsfield. But it's not the road that you travel through. It's the road you have to travel through to get through the downtown. But it's not a road you need to take. You can easily bypass it.
Yeah.
And we're fortunate enough to have, 12, 117, 13 begins and ends there, depending on what it is. So all of that makes it important in its location because it's everybody's downtown, everybody's center. The second thing is a community is oftentimes viewed as by their downtown. So when I go visit someplace, I want to see the downtown. And if it doesn't have a good vibe or it doesn't appear to be vibrant and a lot of energy and clean and all that, it's almost like we draw a conclusion that this, I don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time to spend in this place, and I think I'll probably just move on.
You're not wrong, unfortunately. I mean, that's just the reality of it.
And pride. People take pride in there. I've been places where there are 3 stores downtown, but tremendous pride. I mean, a lot of pride in their downtowns. And so, sometimes people will say, geez, you guys put a lot of effort in the downtown. I'm like, yeah. But I also remember when it was more than half empty.
Sure.
And then and then there was a lot of negativism. There was a lot of, geez, downtown, it looks terrible. It's like a ghost town. There's nothing there. And so anyway, that answers that. So so we have a good group.
We do.
And if there's anybody out there that is downtown, maybe if you own a property, that's fine. You have a business. You work downtown, come on down. When's the next meeting?
The next meeting is on the 19th, Tuesday the 19th at 8 a.m. at Enterprise Bank at 65 Main Street.
So come on down.
You can join us. There's coffee.
And then the facade program, we
Yes.
put some money behind it because we wanted to sort of put a little incentive out there to have some of these buildings sort of restored, updated, and that's gone well.
It's gone great. We have 16 that applied. We have 14 that have already completed their facades, and then we have 2 that are still in the works.
Allen's is a good example.
Allen's
That's one
is a great
everybody
example.
can see.
Yep,
And,
that one's
and
very.
so we provided, it's a financial partnership, and we said, look, this is a historic district down here. We really want to, sort of bring it back. We want to, that older canopy, as Tucker Allen said, at one time, everybody put canopies up. That was the thing to do.
Yeah.
And it was a Jordan Marsh, Filene's, Macy's kind of thing in the big cities to put those up. And all around Boston, you'd see those canopies up. But it saw its day.
Yeah, I mean, we have C&M Pizza is a great example of they were one of the first to take advantage, and everybody knows the color that C&M Pizza used to be, and now it's just it's just a more current color. It looks a lot cleaner because of that. So they took advantage. TC Lando's did all of their new
Opening
awnings and all those
windows.
beautiful windows that'll fold open in the nice weather. And
Logan's took advantage.
Logan's
built
did.
some
They have
outdoor
that
space, which
in
gave
Columbia, so the 2 of them.
Boy, that
Tavern
I'll tell
13.
you, going through mostly now it could be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, down that end where Logan's is, and Columbia, and Brady's, and the Fix, and TC's, and Tavern 13.
Tavern 13,
Oh, it is just packed.
It is.
It's just, thank goodness Rollstone Bank lets us use their parking over there.
Yeah.
Every parking spot. And some of the other businesses, hairstylists and spas and everything, they're open on Fridays and Saturday nights as well. So every parking spot is, and then we're going to have another restaurant opening soon.
I'm excited.
And that's a restaurant that's currently in Westford, and the name of it is
Soul Kitchen.
Soul Kitchen, and they got the sign up, and they're doing a lot of work inside.
They are.
And so just if you're going out, you're going to visit some of these businesses. Keep in mind that the property behind C&M, if you get that property between C&M and that Adams Street, most of that parking, if not all, belongs to the city. So we don't mind sharing it with the other businesses, but if you're having a hard time parking, instead of just looping around and around and around, you can park there. Bank of Boston has allowed people to park there in their parking lot. So it's a good thing. I never thought I would see that. I mean, you hope, and you
Sure.
always work towards that day. But last year, it was Diana's friend that went out with a drone. And I said, oh, can you take some pictures of the, I mean, just, it's a sight to see.
Yeah.
978-534-1626. What else?
So I thought it was important that we tell people about the rail trail, specifically about some concerns we've been getting. I do get a lot of calls about, there's a section of the trail between Water Tower Plaza and Hamilton Street that is currently essentially the holding space for MassDOT while they're doing all
I
that
thought they were
road
going to
work.
fix that before. I would have yelled and screamed about that had I known
know.
that they were going to just leave it like that.
We learned that there may have been some
Miscommunication.
complete lack of communication. Yeah.
So,
before the
but they're going
project
to start up
started.
anytime now.
They're going to start up this. I almost said this month. They'll start up in March, mid-March. So we're going to ask folks to continue to be patient and just use the sidewalk. We know that bicycles aren't technically supposed to be on the sidewalk, but it's not a lot of options on that road to
Other than a
be in
day
the road.
when it was in the middle of the storm, but even then, I always see somebody on that trail.
Always.
Always.
Always. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it
it's
is
so
nice.
well kept. It's,
It-
you know, we have the police that are patrolling it from time to time as
Yep.
well. And
We
there's
have,
somebody who's out there cleaning it all the time, landscaper taking care of it.
We have a retired gentleman
Mm-hmm.
who keeps it clean and just
Does.
picks things up, keeps an eye on things. The DPW's been great about it.
Mm-hmm.
If a couple times we've had graffiti and we get it right off. We don't waste any time.
Yeah.
So yeah, what a great. And I we've had a couple meetings with the state, and I said there are a lot of beautiful rail trails in Massachusetts. Very few have multiple uses or have the uses that ours do. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
I'm surprised, not surprised, impressed at how many people use it for transportation to and from work.
Yes. Yeah, there are people who have called me and been, when that was happening initially, that they couldn't get through. So the whole path is plowed in the winter so that
Right.
you can continue to use it as a transportation corridor. And they called and said, I use this every day. What is happening?
Yeah, please
the-
open that up.
Yeah. And we said,
You have to kind of walk down to the lights and then
Right.
cross, then go back up the hill.
Right.
But yeah, people that work at the hotels or some of those offices, some
Mm-hmm.
people work in retail or at Friendly's and the hospital, they
yeah.
use that. I mean,
They do.
that's so that, and it's a nice trail.
Mm-hmm.
I think kids. I've heard from kids, and they love going over the bridges.
oh, yeah.
It's like a big deal.
Yeah. Did I tell
And-
you I got to ride? I got to take the Gator
You
with
took the
DPW.
Gator?
I drove it. And I got to cruise down the trail, and I was so excited.
Does it have a horn on it?
No, I
Like-
tried. That's a lie. It does have a horn.
It
I
does
lied.
have a horn.
We did
It
learn
has
it maxes out
lights.
at 19 miles an hour. That's it.
And just what a nice addition to the city. It took a long time. You could go back and forth to Fitchburg, and I know there are people that come from Fitchburg come here, vice versa. And it's a great asset. And so now, as the next step, is that we weren't able to reach an agreement with the railroad. And when we did the original project, they were like, yeah, no, we don't want to sell it. That took several years to finally convince the railroad that there's no chance. They said, well, we might use it. I said, for what? Are you going to go to Longhorn or something? Are you going to go shopping at Paper Store? There's nothing there to go to anymore. Then finally, I said, just come out here and look. And finally, they agreed to it. And I just remember the guy that we were dealing with. He said, "Yeah, this takes a year." I said, "For what?" And he's right. It's over
He's right.
a year.
It's been
actually.
over a year.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we should be closing on that very soon. Fingers crossed.
Everybody just cross your fingers.
So that goes from North Main Street crossing, we call it, and then it cuts through the Carter Park.
Yes.
All the way to the back of the properties on Main Street, like
Yes.
Enterprise Bank.
Yes.
And then it ends over at Schofield's.
Exactly.
Or right, it ends in that what we call
Depot Square.
Depot Square. Depot Square.
Yeah.
And it was interesting when we got the survey. We found that that little area around Depot Square, that the railroad owned a huge chunk of that.
Yes.
The road that we used to park on, to drive
Yes.
on,
Yes.
they owned. They didn't need it. They needed the railroad more than they needed the roads at that particular point because it was just horse and carriage. And so that's exciting. So then
It is.
the rail trail will go a little further. Not that people
Yeah.
aren't using it already. I mean,
No.
people are driving their bikes through there anyway, but this is going to be.
It'll help complete the full,
Yeah.
in that phase, it helps complete the full intent of the program, which is to connect one downtown to the other downtown. So
Right.
Fitchburg is also in their phase 2 portion of it, which is daunting. They have so many steps that they're trying to follow because theirs has to go over.
Yeah, theirs goes right next to an active line.
Exactly,
Right? I mean,
yeah.
it goes behind some buildings and all that. And
Yeah.
how are they coming with that?
It's going.
It is, good.
So cross your fingers for them too. It's
Good.
going.
No,
so
that's hopeful.
they're moving in the right direction. It's just, it's a matter of
978-534-1626. About 20 minutes left here, and Amanda Curtis is the economic developer for the city of Leominster, and she's here. And if you have any questions for her or myself, don't be shy. We'll try to hit all the subject matters.
Yeah.
But sometimes we miss a few. I'm also, since I have a business downtown, it's also opened my eyes. Of course, the first eye-opening experience is when we closed the library and moved it to Crossroads temporarily. I hadn't had a full appreciation for how many people had either moved closer to downtown because maybe they gave up their license or they just weren't interested in driving anymore, and moved so they could walk to downtown, but primarily their incentive was the library, or they used public transportation. I just didn't have a full appreciation. I did later when we closed it, and I realized how many people there were. And it's the same thing with, our downtown. I've really become understanding of how many people live within walking distance to the downtown, and that includes the high rise at 100 Main Street, some of the apartment complexes around Adams Street and Pleasant and Union. But you draw a circle around 2 miles, and you hit a whole lot of people who, I'm amazed at how many kids I see, adults, families walking, from French Hill downtown.
Yeah.
It's usually within 2 miles, sometimes
Yeah.
a little longer, but it's what keeps it alive. It's people that you need to
Yeah.
keep going. We've added some businesses in the downtown. We've got Belladonna is a new business. We're going to be going, and she's on Park Street. We've done her grand opening. Let's see, we're going to be going to another grand opening. It's Southern Daisies has been sold.
Yes.
And young man, so excited, pumped to be in. Hopefully, he'll be at our meeting.
Yeah.
He is so excited, and that's the cheese shop. He does a lot of wholesale and events, like a lot of what do they like?
Farmers markets.
Farmers markets, that kind of thing. So once the holidays are over, maybe Super Bowl, but that sort of business, January and February, quiet. But he's opening back up in March. That's coming up March something on a Friday. It'll be reopening again.
I think the 8th. I think I read that it was the 8th.
Yes. So,
so.
Having them downtown at 43 Main Street is exciting. And we've had some newer, I know there's a new physical therapy office in the downtown. We've had some change of ownerships in the downtown. But the office space is still a lucrative part of it all.
It is.
So it's healthy in the downtown.
It
now,
is.
Our biggest issue right now is parking.
I knew that was coming. It is.
Success brings opportunities and challenges. So the police station has moved, but we still consider that downtown. Garapies is, after 98, 97 years, is retired, Steve. And they were great to have here in the city. But sometimes you go to pass on the baton to the next generation, and it's just not their cup of tea. It's not their thing. So we had a gentleman last week that wants to open a gym down there, and he's going to spend. He said, "I know I'm going to spend some serious money here." So that's encouraging.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so what we're working on now is trying to give people who work and live in the downtown for free areas where they can park.
Yeah.
So behind the post office, we bought that land, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. That took the pressure off of the post office. And there were a lot of people that were parking, that worked at the post office, that were parking at the garage, and that filled things up. But the police station is gone, so that there's that parking. They had a lot of vehicles on the upper deck and the lower deck. So you can now park for free on the upper deck. You can park for free behind the police station. You can park downstairs, but just don't park for free. Just don't park on one of those spots that says reserved, because they pay to use those spots. But there are some down there. One empty. If you want to park there, you can park there. Then we have some municipal lots across from the City Hall. We have another lot on Grove Ave. So we have plenty of places. You might have to walk a little. You might not be there. But you've got to leave those spots open for the customers. So anywhere that was metered at one time, or it still has a meter, starting in another week, we'll start enforcing that again. That's 2-hour parking. So you should be able to get, anybody that's coming to do business downtown should be able to get things done in 2 hours. Is there a chance it might go over? We're not going to make a big deal of that. But, I mean, I think 2 hours. I can't imagine I've spent, unless you're in a big city, I think most people that are coming to do business, it's going to be 2 hours or less.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it goes back to what you said at the very beginning, that when people are coming downtown, they're looking for spots. If they're from out of town, especially, they're looking for spots right in front of that business. If they can't find any,
they'll keep going.
They're just going to keep moving.
Absolutely.
And they're just not going to.
I've been to enough places. You've been to enough places. They'll just say, you know what, I can't find a parking spot. I'm moving on. Now, a lot of businesses have parking. So Bank of America, we're very fortunate that most businesses downtown have parking. So that takes the pressure off. The old Red Cross building, Anderson Bagley, Allen's, behind Monument Music School, that area there. And then there's that center parking lot between the two churches. And there's all-day parking there as well. So there are plenty of places.
There are.
To park. So leave those open. We're not looking for we don't want to tow anybody. We don't want the fines. We're not looking to raise money. This is, we're trying to keep downtown vibrant.
Yes, exactly.
978-534-1626. What else?
So one of the things.
How about your newsletter?
I was going to say, so shame on me. I did not provide a digital copy in advance.
Oh.
But the March one does come out tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we do have our
That
It's
was a
Happening.
quick month, huh?
Oh my God, yes, poor stuff. We do have our monthly newsletter that we've been putting out for a year. It'll be a year in March. And it's called It's Happening in Leominster. And it's all of the good stuff that's happening in the city. So it's talking about all of the events that are hosted by the library, by City Hall, Rec Department, Conservation. Senior Center has started sending us their information as well, even though they have their own newsletter. It's like a great place to find a whole bunch of it in an easy spot. And then we just talk about different things like the CPR and first aid trainings that EMA hosts that we didn't know about until we started this newsletter. That is just a thing that they do. That's
I read
free.
these things in the morning. There's tons of things going on. And that's why you can find the newsletter, Leominster Community Development,
on the City of
Leominster-ma.gov, City of Leominster. I mean, there's places to find it electronically. We would like to test it out and try to mail some copies, maybe 100 a month or so, and try to mail them out. And some people just aren't hooked up electronically. You know what I was going to say, Scott, the other day? The new statistic, there were 100 million people who were connected to cable somehow. Now down to 70 million. They expect it to go to 50 million. But that doesn't mean people can't watch. At one time, if you wanted to watch this show or cable, we started this 31 years ago, you had to have cable. Not necessarily the case anymore, Scott, right?
Yeah.
So you could get this on Facebook. You can get it on demand, right? You can get it electronically through the computer, right? I mean, so there are other ways to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
There are tons of ways to watch community access television.
Right.
There is, YouTube pages. We have a YouTube page. Facebook. People are streaming us right now, this show, on Facebook. There's also, if you go to leominster.tv, you can watch us on there. 24 hours a day.
Again, things evolved. So when we started doing the cable show, we had a lot more people who would be regulars who would call in, and the show was from 6:30 to 7:30. But it was just another way to get information, I guess, to talk about things, about things people maybe saw in the newspaper. But the newspaper can't do what it used to do. They do a good job, Sentinel Enterprise, but there's almost no coverage unless it's something big from the Worcester Telegram. And there used to be a couple of weekly papers that we had, and those are just electronic today. So I've come to realize how many people count on us to be here in my morning briefings to give them information about what's happening in town. So they might not call in because I see people like, I watch you. I'm like, well, why are you calling? It makes me feel like I'm not talking to anybody. And they don't talk to me back there. Like, they just look at me funny. Right, Mia? She just looks at me funny. Like what? Are you for real? And so this has become a public service. But not everybody has the internet or uses it. And not everybody has, a phone that can connect to all these other places. So it is a bit of a public service, right?
Yeah.
Now?
It is, and we do have a bunch of, we provide, and we'll start to print even more now when we make it a little heftier too. We're already at 6 pages for the newsletter.
Yeah, it's like a little newspaper. It tells you everything.
Great, and we do print copies. We leave them at City Hall. We have them at the library,
But
and
there's
we'll just
so
start
much.
to leave them elsewhere.
During school vacation week, do we really only have 9 minutes left?
Yeah, we got 10 minutes.
Okay. During school vacation, several years ago, we decided to get all the city agencies and put a master schedule together. And it's worked so well. We've had such good participation. We always keep things, if we charge at all, it's affordable. It's $5 to go to bingo. I don't know how much it was for the bowling thing. It was $5 or something.
$5. I think it was $5.
And everything else for the week was free. And we do that because it's expensive, right?
Yeah.
Out with
we
the
do.
old kiddos and take them to some of these places, and you can drop yourself a couple hundred, $300-400 depending where you go. Not everybody has, or you're outspent. You spent it all, your budget by Wednesday, and now you're looking for things to do.
Just on snacks, never mind
Yeah,
activities.
exactly. And so we'll do that again. That was very successful. Also coincided with Restaurant Week. I told you the other day I've got a year to pull this off. I want to include I would like to do it the same week because kids are out, and do a ice sculpture week where we could do. The other thing with ice sculptures, it's not cheap, and if you have a warm week, you know what's going to happen. So I'm counting on the fact that it's school vacation, it's still winter, it's restaurant week. Why not just do it all in 1 week? It'd be fun. So anyway, we'll do that again in April when it's the next vacation, and that's coming up.
It is.
So we'll be looking for sponsors for our little newsletter.
Yes.
It won't cost businesses a whole ton of money. You're working with Scott on these new segments that hopefully we can show segments here. They've asked, we used to go out all the time. Jane remembers this. Jane, we used to go out to visit the businesses all the time.
That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I
and
enjoyed that.
we just got too busy with COVID and everything.
Oh,
then it became going out and promoting the fact that they're still here.
Yes.
And that they have curbside. Remember the whole curbside thing? Bang on the door 3 times. Somebody, hey, yeah, Louie, I got some stuff for you. Remember that? And so they asked that we get back out there again and start reintroducing a lot of new people in town, reintroducing some of these businesses that have been bought and sold. And so exciting times coming up. And what else? There was a couple other things that were.
So we had talked about at one point, I don't think people know that, I just think it's a really interesting fact, and I loved it when I started with the city, that we do technical reviews.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a thing that we put out there.
Yeah.
That is a thing
I'm
you
glad
can
you
take
brought that
advantage.
up. At first, when I started to do them, people thought we were trying to stop business, like we were there to beat up, explain who's at those meetings.
So the technical reviews, the whole purpose is that if you are a business or somebody who's looking to buy property and you have plans for that space that you're looking at, you can come and present your project idea to all of the department heads of the city. So
Inspectors.
you have everybody there. Yeah.
And we're not there to beat up on people and say,
No.
your project just went from 100,000 to 3.
No,
But
it's-
we're there to help you save,
help you.
to make sure you understand
We have
what's necessary.
We never say it's a bad idea. We just
Right.
let folks know you can't do that project in this area. So
Right.
before they
So it might not be the
ideally
right zoning.
commit. Exactly.
Or it might be a situation where someone doesn't understand the mechanics behind opening a restaurant.
Right.
And all of the, grease traps and hoods and seating capacity and all the requirements. So rather than them, or sometimes people buy a building, they don't realize the water and sewer connections are old.
Yeah.
And need to be replaced, and that's very expensive. So it's more of the what's, the heads up.
Yeah,
All right.
and we find that people are they seem really
Appreciate it.
satisfied
Yeah,
that they've
don't-
come
don't
to it, they
panic.
get the
Come here.
info.
We had a gentleman yesterday.
They can
we're
do it
like,
anytime.
hey, listen, we're trying to help you out. Maybe we can bring you to another restaurant so you can get an idea. Maybe they can help you, give you an idea as to what this might cost. And we don't want to scare anybody away. We want to be partners with them.
Right.
All right, let's do. What are we going to do first?
What's poppin'?
What's popping? You ready? Amanda's
I'm
here.
totally ready.
See how cool she is
Oh.
with this whole.
You're going to be very disappointed.
All right, what's popping? By LTV.
Residential Gen Zer.
Look at her. Now you see how excited she gets? All of a sudden she perks up. All right, the tea of the week. Harry Potter is set to return the small screen in 2026. Are these new? I heard this.
It's an HBO Max series.
Yeah, remember they did the last one. You'll never see it again. It's over. Blah blah blah.
Miniseries are huge.
There's
now,
nothing.
dude.
The other day they were saying that the streaming TV stations need a big hit. Big Bang Theory's gone. A lot of these things that were on are gone, and they need a hit. And so they're going to resurrect some of these things. Past Lives wins 2 biggest honors at the Independent Spirit Award.
It's the biggest independent movie of the year.
Yes. Let's see, royalties battled between Universal Music Group and TikTok. And, of course, there's a big battle. I mean, it's, every morning they shut me off. If I go beyond 34 seconds, they shut me off. Because I'm on Facebook and I'm playing music from YouTube, and it's copywritten. Ryan Gosling will perform Just Ken from Barbie at the Oscars. All right. I don't know. Listen, Mia, I heard some of this music the other day from Barbie, and it sounds like the same stuff, like Frozen, only they changed the words. It's hypnotic. I don't know. Can't they come up with something, better than this with all this talent? Hey, what's popping? Here we go. Oh, I went back. Look at me for digressing. TikTok is a video sharing app that allows users to create and share short form videos using filters, voiceovers, music, and sharing dance routines. That's right. Plus other things that I won't mention in there. It gets racy on there sometimes. And everybody's pushing the envelope. What I don't like to see is these lunatics who have a diving board set up on the 4th story of a building.
Oh, boy.
They run down the hall, jump on the diving board, go flying about 50 feet, jump onto a telephone pole. They're going to get killed. Knock it off. You're not funny. All right, let's dance. Let's dance. That's a song, I can't see those headings here.
So these are all influencers who are famous for dancing on TikTok.
All right. Did you ever see the Encore challenge? Did you ever see that? It's a big TikTok one on YouTube. We can't show it because it's got music. But yeah, these people are influencers, so what they wear and what they do makes big money, right? You got to get millions of hits to make any money, but you can look up any one of these people on Google, it will tell you how much money they make. There we go. So TikTok Insights, is this the amount of people that interact with TikTok?
These are the people who use it the
Generation X, baby boomers of a small amount. Kids used to go to Facebook as soon as they found out their parents were there. It'll take off all. Generation Z is at 38%, millennials at 48.1%. I agree. Did you know that an average user spends around 95 minutes on TikTok, making it one of the most used apps? Yeah, you can't get off. You can't get off. Once you're on, the 3 most followed, 161.8 million followers. That's insane. And it's Chamadello, is it?
Charlie D'Amelio.
Charlie D'Amelio is 151 million, and Bella Poach is 93.9. That's insane. They're making money. Wait, so TikTok is only for young people? No, but no, they haven't picked up on it yet. You know what I mean? They haven't been there. They're still fooling around on YouTube and getting these little reels. You know the reels? Then check this out. What's this guy do?
These are elderly people who are famous on TikTok.
Yeah, people that dance and just do stuff. Mostly happy stuff. I just don't like it when people start doing crazy stuff. All right. Are you more hipper than a teenager? The word of the day is get into it, meaning put all your energy into it and have some fun with it. Let's get into it. Let's see what it means. Okay. Where is it?
Yep.
What happened? Uh-oh.
Oh, hold on.
Can
we get the last slide?
Was I right, Mia? Get into it?
Yeah.
Like dancing, you get into it. Like, put it all in there, zone out. All right, let's do pictures of the week real quick. We've only got a couple seconds left.
Yeah, we got 2 minutes.
2 minutes left. All right, here we go. Let's do pictures of the week, if I can find them. I'm clicking. Eyes are clicking. Oh, no. Please. What happened?
Not sure. I'll go find out.
We only got 2 minutes left?
Yep.
1 minute left?
We got 1 minute.
Well, I want to. Wendy does these pictures of the week, so I don't.
She
All right,
does.
here we go. All right, here we go. Pictures of the week. Recreation Department adult crafting class was a big hit. People love it. Look how cool. See, if I would have known I could have done something like that with instruction. February vacation at the rec department. I'm telling you, everything. More fun at the rec department last week. And kids, you give them something to do that's positive. Great artwork. Look at that. Look at those T-shirts. Movie night. We had sold out all the tickets once upon a time. And let's see, let me go back. Lots of fun with our special guests there. Those are all City Hall employees and an intern from the police department. And there we are with New Engine 3, in service and responding to emergencies as called upon, downtown Common, under construction, completed by June 1st. And 3 Eagles. Everybody, that was the hit of the weekend. Eagles, 3 landed at Rockwell Pond. Out of time here inside Leominster. Thank you, Amanda. We'll have you on again periodically, make it a regular thing. The new North Central Massachusetts guide is out, telling you everything that's going on in the spring and summer. Good night. God bless you. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. Thanks for showing up. Good night.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolisInsuranceAgency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank, create success, enterprisebanking.com.
This is LTV.